Hi, welcome to my channel, Scott's Cozy Corner. Today we are making a granny square. I am using some leftover yarn. I got this yarn from Hobby Lobby. This is Crafter's Big Secret, and these are from Yarn Bee, and they are a velvet texture. Today this is what your square is going to look like. I'm just going over the basics of how to start a square, and then you can keep making it bigger as you go. But yeah, let's just get started into it. So I'm going to start with my pink yarn. Now you don't have to do your granny squares with different types of yarn. However, I just like the different textures, and I like having different colors because I think it just makes your granny squares pop out more. I will also be using some scissors, a thread needle to weave in our ends. I usually wait till I'm done with my whole square to weave in my ends, but you can also weave in your ends after each round. And then I'm using a 5.0 millimeter hook. I'm gonna start with the pink yarn. Now I like to make a magic circle where you wrap it around your fingers and you kind of make an X. You're going to enter your hook under the first part of the X, and then you're gonna grab the bottom part right here, and you're gonna twist up, and then you are going to go ahead and yarn over and make that first chain. Now after this part, I will chain 3 more. I'll move my tail to the left side because as I crochet my double crochets, it will kind of start weaving in that for me, and then I'll pull it at the end to close up the granny square tight. And so I'll chain 3. There we go. However, if this is a difficult step for you and you're a brand new beginner, you can just make a normal slip stitch, which you wrap the yarn over, you go inside the circle, pull up the long yarn, pull up the long yarn and pull, and that make that slip knot. Now you can chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then enter your hook into the very first chain that you started. Okay, you should have 2 loops, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, and make a slip knot. Okay, now you have a little circle. Okay, and you're gonna go inside the circle to start your double crochets. For this video I can just use that, and then I'll weave in my ends. So I'm gonna make sure I have the, right now I think I just chained 1, so I'm gonna chain 2 more times. 1, 2, and then I'm gonna enter into that middle circle from the chains that I made. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm going into the right hole. Okay, I'm gonna yarn over and go into that hole, pull up a loop, and then you should have 3 loops. You are going to yarn over, which means just you're grabbing the yarn with your hook. I like to pull the yarn towards me, and I'm gonna go into 2 loops, have 2 loops on my hook, then go into the next 2 loops. And that is how you make a double crochet. And then you're going to go ahead and make 1 more double crochet. 1, 2. Now it's important to note that every time you're going to start a new round, which I'll show you later in this video, you're going to do a chain 3, and that's going to act as your first double crochet, just like it did here. Okay, so we have our 3 double crochets, or our chain 3, 2 double crochets. You're going to make 2 chains, okay, 1, 2, and then you're going to go back into that same hole that we went into earlier, and you are going to do another 3 double crochets. 1, 2. Okay, so that's 1 double crochet. That's 2 double crochet, and this is 3. Now we are gonna go on and make another chain 2. So you should start seeing that it's creating an edge already. This is the beginning of our square, and the chain 2 acts as our corner on the square. These corners are made from the chain 2s. Okay, so I'm gonna chain 2, 1, 2, so that's my next corner, and I'm gonna go ahead and enter that hole in the middle, and I'm going to do another 3 double crochets. We're gonna repeat that same process 2 more times, so I'll meet you at the end of that round, or you can just watch along as I do it. 1, 2, okay, did my chain 2, and then doing my last 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Let me pull this up. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do, you see the square has formed, or let me show you from my point of view. The square has formed. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, in that first chain 3 that we made to start our square, we're gonna go find that top loop in that chain 3, which for me is right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my hook under that chain. Okay. So that first chain 3, and I'm gonna just slip stitch, okay, meaning going through both loops, and then I'm gonna chain 1. Okay, and so now we have the beginning of our square. I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the tail of the yarn, and I'm gonna pull my hook. Okay, with velvet you want to be careful when you pull the yarn, because sometimes it can snap. I learned that the hard way. Okay, and then I'm just pulling the yarn in the back of that hole to tighten up my square. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see the 4 corners. Okay, you should have a gap that has 4 corners made of the chain 2s, and then we did 4 rounds of the chain 3s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or well, 1 round was the chain 3, 2 double crochets, and then the rest were just made of 3 double crochets. Okay. Now at this part, you could weave in your tail for your first color. Now I'm probably just gonna weave in the back part for now, and then I'm gonna crochet over this to kind of leave it in, and then whatever excess is there I will weave in at the very end. That's what I do, but if you want yours to look a lot neater, you could just weave in your ends now. So I'm gonna do that. I just go in the back of my my granny square, you can see that the tail's sticking out, so that's the back side. And I go into the back loops of the double crochets that we made. And I'll go around probably the whole circle for this first part because I really want this square to stay closed. And I don't want it to come loose over time. Okay, I'm gonna go one more time into the back loops. Pull through. Okay. And then I'm gonna cut it. And so that's it, all closed up. Okay, that's my back side. This is what my front side looks like. Now I'm gonna get my second color. So for my second color, I'm gonna use this green. And then I'm just gonna make a normal slip knot. Boop. Into hook. And to start this next round, I'm gonna go into my first corner on my square. Okay. This is your first corner, this hole right here. Okay, your first corner. I'm going through my right side. Okay. And with my tail to the other side, because I want to weave that in as I go. Alright, I'm going to pull my yarn up, gonna slip stitch and then chain up, make it 3 chains total. Okay, that's our first, counts as our first double crochet. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make 2 double crochets. 1, 2, okay, and then this is my second double crochet. Now that I have 3 double crochets, or the chain 3, 2 double crochets, now I'm going to chain 2 just like we did before. And to make the corner, that's the chain 2, right? But we're gonna make another 3 double crochets into that same hole that we just worked on. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now we have 2 sets of 3 double crochet in that first corner. You're gonna chain 1 and you're gonna go into your next corner. Okay, and yarn over, go under the corner, and it's just the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So once you got this down, it's pretty repetitive throughout the pattern. But you can go ahead and stay with me as I do this. Just because I know as a beginner, it can be really hard to keep track of the work that you're doing. And I found it easier when I saw tutorials where people did the whole project with me step by step. So you can always speed up until you meet the end of this round for the next parts, or you can just keep crocheting along with me. So I have my chain 2, doing another 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and my third round, 3. Okay, so I have my 2 rounds of 3 double crochets. You're going to chain 1 again and then go into your third corner. Make sure I'm pulling my yarn with me. Okay, there we go. This is my second double crochet, 3 here. Okay, chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're gonna do another 3 double crochet. Granny squares are one of my favorite things to make. Once you know how to make a granny square, honestly the possibilities are endless of what you can make. You can make a headband, you can make a purse, which is what I'm using these granny squares. Well, this granny square for that I'm making with you. I'm gonna use it in a bag, and maybe I'll make a tutorial. I'm not too sure yet about that. I'm gonna make a cute granny square bag. You can also make a sweater, which if you don't follow me on TikTok, I have a TikTok. It's just my name, Jennelle Scott, Jennelle, and Scott, Scott. Okay, I have my 3 double crochets. I'm gonna chain 1 and go into my last corner. And my sweater is posted there. I might link the picture here if I remember. But yeah, so many wearables are made from granny squares, and it's honestly one of my favorite things to make. And it was actually one of the first projects I learned how to do when I first started crocheting. My very first one was a stuffy of Winnie the Pooh, and if I remember to post a picture, I'll post it here. But it was absolutely atrocious. But it did not stop me from crocheting. I found that I love making wearables more than stuffies. I have made other stuffies since then that are way more cuter. Like I made a cute axolotl, picture here. And I made a cute little dragon. But stuffies are not my favorite thing to make. They are fun and cute, but I just find more enjoyment in making things that I can wear. And I love making blankets. I made my sister a baby blanket and a baby hat. I made my first baby cardigan and it turned out so good, so happy. But yeah, I just like making things that are useful, things that I can wear and show off, and not, I don't know, stuffies. I am 27 years old and I still love stuffies and stuffed animals. I enjoy wearables more. So, anyway, I have my 3 double crochets, my chain 2. I'm gonna make my last set of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, at this point you are going to, so this is what I have so far. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to find that first chain 3 that we made, put my hook under those 2 loops, and I'm going to yarn over, chain 1 or slip stitch, and then cut off the excess yarn. Okay, and pull through and make it tight. So this is what the square looks like. So now we have 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we also have these middle holes now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so our process is going to be a little bit different now that we have those middle holes. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you what to do for those holes. I'm gonna show you this round and one more round, and that will probably be the end of this video. However, you can just keep expanding your square. And like I said, you can make blankets, you can make hats, you can make sweaters. There's so much things you can make with these granny squares. Or if you just want a cute granny square coaster, you know, that's up to you, and that's also cute. Excuse me. Okay. Gonna get my third color. I'm using this velvet blue. It's really pretty. Yarn Bee is my favorite yarn from Hobby Lobby, but use whatever yarn you wish. Okay, I'm going into my right corner, and I'm gonna do the chain 3, right, because we're starting a new color. So 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna yarn over and then do 2 more double crochets. 1, 2. Okay, now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So we got our corner going. For this middle part, okay, we're gonna chain 1. We're not chaining 2 this time, we're chaining 1. And we're gonna go straight into that middle hole. Okay, gonna yarn over, go into that middle hole. And in this section, you're just doing 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so it should look like, okay, let me show you the front. Should look like this. Okay. Now you're going to chain 1 again. So chain 1. And then you're going to go into that, your next corner, okay? Which is between the set of 3 double crochets. So 1. 2. Pull more yarn up. Yarn over, and 3. Okay. Now chain 2, because this is our corner. And you're going to do a second set of 3 double crochets in that same space. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we have our second corner made. Okay, and we're gonna chain 1. And then you're gonna do 3 double crochets in the middle hole. Okay, this middle hole right here. You do 3 double crochets. See, as you can see, I've been pulling up my ends onto the top of my square, and I've been holding it down. That's how I've been weaving in my ends. But you can always just get your thread needle, weave in the ends at the end of each color. Like that would be neater. I don't do that because I don't know. It's just an extra step. Okay. So I have the 3 double crochets, I'm going to chain 1 and go into my third corner between the set of 3 double crochets. Okay, yarn over, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let me get some more yarn. Alright, so I have my 3 double crochets. I'm gonna chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm gonna do another 3 double crochets. Okay, yarn over, 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. I'd like to show you, just see how neatly the ends get weaved in as you hold them and you crochet along them. It saves me a lot of time at the end where I have to weave in the other ends. Okay, I'm gonna go into the middle hole. Remember, you chained 1 after your last double crochet. Gonna yarn over, go into that hole, do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. We are almost done. Okay, you're gonna chain 1, and this is how it's looking. You're gonna go into your 4th corner. Okay. You're gonna do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna chain 2, 1, 2, because that's the corner. You're gonna do another 3 double crochets in that same spot. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you're gonna chain 1. You're gonna go into that last middle hole, yarn over, do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Okay, now we're gonna close off this square. Yeah, okay, we're gonna close off that square by going into the first chain 3. Okay, our first chain 3 of the first corner. I'm gonna put my hook under the 2 loops, yarn through, have 2 loops, yarn through, and chain 1 or slip stitch. Okay, now I'll cut off the excess yarn. I don't like to make it too long. I just want it long enough where I can weave in the end, but not long enough where it's just a waste of yarn. And there you have 3 rounds of a granny square. Okay, we got our middle piece, our corners, and then we could stop here, but just to help you guys out, I'm gonna do one more round because now we have 2 middle pieces, and in those middle pieces, just like we did, you're gonna do 3 double crochets, and the corners are the same. You're gonna do 2 sets of the 3 double crochets with the chain 2 in between. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that last color with you. And then you can keep just repeating the square, making it bigger and bigger. I would love to see your squares. If you've watched this video this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. But I would love to see your work. So go ahead, comment, post. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting more content like this about just crochet with me's, tutorials. Let me know if there's anything that you see that I made that you want a tutorial on. I'll go ahead and do those for you. Okay, so I have my third color. I'm going into my corner. Okay, and I'm gonna chain 2 more times. So I have a chain of 3. Now I'm going to do the 3 double crochets. 1. Okay. And then 1 more. Okay. Oops. Okay. So I have 3 total, so chain 3 in my 2 double crochets. I'm gonna chain 2, 1, 2, and then I'm gonna do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1. Now you are going to go into that first middle hole. You're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 1. Go into the next middle hole. Yarn over, and you're gonna do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Gonna chain 1, and this is how it's looking so far. So chain 1, and then you're gonna go into your next corner and do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're gonna do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. I'm gonna take a quick break and take some coffee. Okay. Now, let me double check I did my chain 1. Okay. So my chain 1. Alright, we're gonna go into our middle hole, the first middle hole. That right here. And you're gonna do the chain 3. Or sorry, not chain 3. 3 double crochets. Okay, 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then go into your next middle hole. Okay, same process. You're gonna do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, chain 1. Now we are going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, do another set of 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, chain 1. Now go into the first middle hole and do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And yes, I count every time. Chain 1 and go into your second middle hole. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and this is our last corner. We're almost done. Okay, we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Our last middle pieces, you're gonna do 3 double crochets in the first chain, first hole. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Last one, okay, middle hole, do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then you're going to close off by going into the first chain 3 of that round. Slip stitch in through, cut off the excess yarn, pull through. Okay, tighten it. And there, you have a beautiful granny square. Now that I am done making my granny square, it's time to weave in the ends, which is my least favorite part, but it has to happen. So, okay. Okay, get my blue yarn. Okay, and then I'm going into the back loops of the double crochets, pulling it through. Now since my tail's a little bit long, I'm gonna do that one more time. Okay, now I'm gonna skip on top of the first double crochet and then go back through the other double crochet loops, just so it kind of locks in. Pull, pull, pull. There we go. And cut the excess because it should be weaved in good. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to cut off these ends just because they're already weaved in, because they're the ones that we crocheted over, but there's still a tiny little bit of a tail. I'm just gonna cut those. And then I have one more. Now the last thing I need to weave in is this end corner. So I'm going to thread my needle here. I love these plastic needles just because they bend really nicely when I need them to. I know some people have the metal ones that have the curve. Those would be really useful. Okay, I'm gonna go into this 3 double crochets here in this corner. Okay. And then you pull through. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go over the first double crochet and then back through those same loops just so it's really secure. Okay, there we go, and then cut off the excess yarn. Okay, so this is our back all cleaned up. Okay, this square will kind of curve up, and that's how you'll know what your back side is. Now to make these squares flat, what you're gonna do is you can block it. There's some videos, tutorials on YouTube of how to block, but basically you can either spray it with water and then you get a foam square and you place the square on that foam square and you pin it on just the corners in these holes. You'll pin it down and you'll flatten it out to what you prefer, and you let it dry. Another way of blocking is you soak it in warm water. You gently green the square with a towel by like just rolling it in that towel, and then you let it air dry flat. You can still do that and then do the block method as well, where you're pinning it on a block, and that will make your squares really flat. But yeah, I enjoyed making this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like this video, share it. If you haven't, please subscribe. And I will see you next time, but this is the end of this video. Bye!